What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bushwick Bears Petty Crime Review. This week we got the very funny Nataly Aukar joining us.
Yes, we're talking about potential sibling murder and dismay.
I think by the end of the episode, Natalie's going to want to murder me.
Yeah, that's a great point. We haven't done the episode yet, but I figure this is how it's going to end for sure.
It's not about being in the third world country. It's about being exposed to stuff in the third world country and then coming to a first world country. And so compared to people here, I feel like I've been exposed to a bunch of germs and stuff.
Maybe you guys could like have a third world country off. Like who's worse off?
No, but you know what?
I got you both beat because I was born in Detroit.
Yeah.
That is a third world country.
But that's not what I mean, because if that were true, then the situation in India wouldn't be what it is right now.
You got bury the mic, sorry.
Oh, we started?
Kind of. I mean,
we're
just to give
I'm
you
going to cut in
up.
at some point, basically.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
we do this
To
thing
give
where we
it
have like
that-
a natural conversation.
We're trying to.
Who had it worst in their third world
Who had it worse?
I had it great. So
Well, my point was only that whenever I travel now, like I went to India and my 3 friends that I went with all got sick, including my friend whose family's from there.
yeah.
And I was the only one. We went to Mexico and everyone got sick but me, and I even was brushing my teeth with the water, and they're like, "Are you crazy brushing your teeth with the water?" And I'm like, "I'm telling you, I'm going to be fine because this happens." When I went to India, I drank the one thing they told me not to do. At first they were like, "Well, don't eat the street food, but if you're going to eat street food, make sure it's cooked street food." But then we went and they have all these juice bars on the side of the road, and it's just people making fresh, and it's smoothies for like 40 cents.
And
You
they're
know what I mean?
delicious.
They cost like $10 here, and they're delicious. So eventually I was just like, I'm gonna have a fucking smoothie. And I was fine, and literally everyone I was with shit their pants.
I have an iron stomach as well.
Yeah.
I was inoculated with anthrax, so I feel like I've never. I mean, it's a true
What
thing.
a competition.
Okay,
we're
No,
having.
no. But what
Derek,
I'm
you
saying
win.
is like I haven't gotten the flu shot in the last 20 years. Never get the flu, and so I'm real vaccine averse because I had a bad reaction to anthrax, as one might do. So it's just like tough to go through with it. But
Yeah.
I also feel like anthrax trumps COVID. It's like I don't know. It's like when you have like the high card in poker. It's.
Are you saying you think your anthrax vaccine protects you from COVID?
I think it protects me from a lot of things. I don't have COVID, don't have AIDS. Thanks, anthrax.
Never had my heart broken.
I don't know what
That's not
Xanthrax
true.
is, so.
You know what anthrax is?
Anthrax or Xanthrax?
Anthrax.
No, I don't. I don't know it.
There was a big anthrax scare. People were getting like anthrax in envelopes and shit mailed to them. And
What is it,
like,
a drug?
No, it's a biological weapon.
It's like a poison.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember hearing about that.
It was like a thing in like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
Brokaw was like getting anthrax by snail mail.
And it is the previous vaccine that was approved by emergency use authorization and used in the public before COVID.
And did they do something bad?
You tell us.
Well, yeah. Well, so I was on a.
Oh, so you actually did get injected with it?
Yeah, because I was in the military at the time, and then I was a firefighter and EMT, and they're like, you're qualified to be an anthrax handler in case somebody like gets mailed anthrax. So they're like, you have to be stuck with anthrax, so in case anybody gets sent anthrax, so that you can be in a room with anthrax. And then I got
Gotcha.
anthrax, and then like my arm like bubbled up. Like there's like a huge like it looked like a bruise or whatever. I thought like my skin was going to explode, and then I was sick for like not even just a day, but like for a few days. And then you just have this sinking feeling of I have anthrax in my body, you know. And then it's like
Anthrax was also a really
Pretty
great
dope.
thrash,
Yeah, thrash
metal band
band.
from the 80s from New York.
Yeah. The goatee.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now you learned something.
you know so
Whoa.
much.
We've bored you already.
No, I'm just...
Disaffected Natalie is.
I'm just processing, really. You just told me that you were basically injected with a bioweapon, and you're just sitting here like talking about it like you're talking about
My
like
friend,
eating a salad.
I am a bioweapon.
I feel like that explains a lot. It
He's
explains
indestructible. That's why he's an anti-vaxxer now.
I am not an anti-vaxxer, for the record.
You know what? There is no vaccine for, though. Wait, did we even settle on this as the topic? The pillow? Is that what we're going with? Or was
Listen,
it-
I gave you guys a lot of
think
crimes.
You
that's
gave us
good.
a lot to work with.
That's a
A real
You
black
pick and choose your battle.
you're
Natalie is a real criminal.
a real Natalie's a hardened career criminal. We gave us many options to work with. I like that one.
Well, here's the thing, Natalie. You guys had your third world off. Natalie's not from America. You guys, and she has a very, I wouldn't say torrid background.
Where are you from?
Jesus.
Why don't you give us a little rundown, like
For our listeners.
You're our
Yeah.
first international guest.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
no
That
way that's true.
That's
That's
no way that's
absolutely
true.
true.
Really?
Absolutely. We've had white people, white dudes, and
Black dudes.
we didn't release that one.
No,
Oh,
Phil counts.
Phil's black, but he's not international black.
No, okay. Let's.
Anyways,
Define international.
I guess not
It's
born in
con-
I mean, he's
America.
from New
Not born in
Jersey.
America.
Does that
Phil's-
count?
Because
it's,
Phil's
it's a glamorous way
Phil
to say cool
Duckett?
and interesting.
No.
Phil
Risden.
Risden, and his
Phil Risden.
family is
Oh,
at
Phil
least
Risden.
part, if not all, Jamaican,
Yeah.
which is international. But he's, I believe, was born here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was born and raised in Lebanon,
Okay.
which
okay.
is why Derek just decided my background is torrid.
You did have a
I didn't
major
decide
disaster
that.
this year, sadly.
Yeah, we did have one. I wasn't there though.
But
Explain
Not for-
yourself, Derek.
not for
On
that
what
one.
So you're
grounds?
saying you're
I
not a
believe you're on
suspect.
trial.
No, I mean, listen, we had some. It's funny because we had some like bad stuff happen while I was growing up, but it's just I don't see it as I had a crazy childhood. I think it's because we normalized it so much.
Right.
That to me is just like, oh, it's fine. Especially when you compare it to what could actually be happening, but that didn't happen while I was growing up. Like, for
Right.
example, a full-on civil war,
Yeah.
like that my parents lived through from 1975 to 1990. I didn't have that, so I think we were just like measuring everything compared to that. And so as long as it wasn't that, we were like, oh, it's fine. So we were like, when there was a bomb, like our parents would be like, it's just a bomb. It's not like it's a war. and, it's like, and you're like, yeah, I'm such a little bitch. You're right. It's just
I love
a bomb.
normalizing insane shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what you end up doing when you're just used to like really insane stuff, or when there's like a 1 month war. Like I lived through that I remember is one war that I remember. I think there was a couple more when I was younger, but they like were tiny and I was so young that I don't remember them. But the war that I remember was in 2006, and we were in it for a month
Yeah.
before we fled. And then we fled, and then 2 days later it ended. I was like, okay, you couldn't do that like a week before. I had to go through the whole trauma of like driving in a bus to Syria as I heard like airplanes striking over my head. Like you couldn't do this 2 days earlier to spare me this fucking. I feel like escaping a war is scarier than just living in it, because when you're living in a war, you it's. For us anyway, that war was like you knew where it was geographically, almost you knew what they were hitting,
Just stay out of there.
so just stay out of there. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
They would hit sometimes like random other points, like an electricity base, like to cut off electricity, or they would hit like somewhere where there was like Wi-Fi or some shit. I can't even remember, but most of the time it was just in
Like
one.
strategic target.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we were hiding in the mountains and we were safe, but then for some reason our parents were like, no, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know where it's going to spread, so we need to go. And then 2 days later it ended. But it was like we lived in it for like a month, and then when I recalled it, or when me and my friends like talked about it, my mom would always be like, that was just a month.
Right. Yeah.
Stop
yeah,
pretending you guys know struggle.
Right.
Okay, that was nothing. Do you have an idea what I saw? And then we would go through. She's like, I saw when I was a kid, trucks driving by with cadavers after a bomb. I just see bodies piled on bodies driving in front of me. My cousin, my mom has like 7
Your mom is
cousins who were
OG.
killed. Yeah. My dad's brother was murdered in the war. He was slaughtered. His other brother was severely injured. So it's like, they saw crazy shit compared to us. So to go back to why we normalize, I feel like why it's been normalized for us, it's because our parents' generation just put it in our heads that what we're going through is not that bad. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
Be,
like,
be
if I could do it,
thankful
you
it's
could
that.
do it.
It's like the old adage, they're like, I have to walk 5 miles through snow barefoot to get to school.
Up
Right.
hills,
Right,
Like
yeah.
you
both
only had to
ways.
go through a war that lasted a month.
I
Yeah.
feel
Right.
similarly with Ukraine because not only, obviously, prior to me being born there, it was much more militant Soviet, like, communist rule, and it started becoming more, like, loose under Gorbachev, which was when I was there. And then we left, and then now there's, like, escalating war again and
Yeah.
civil war in Crimea, and then they actually went into Odessa briefly, where I'm from. But I was like, compared to America, it was a shithole. I can definitely say that. But otherwise, I had the least of it. But I did want to add one thing is that what's interesting is that it's normalized, but it's also normalized sort of because what we're experiencing here is not normal. Like so much of the world lives in conflict and stuff that it kind of is normalized because it is more normal, unfortunately, than like living a middle class existence in America.
The big war of my childhood was Pepsi versus Coke. That was like, I remember in the malls, they'd be like, you gotta make your choice, like which one do you
Pepsi
like?
versus Coke.
That was a war for us too.
PlayStation versus Xbox. Like that's how they set it up.
Right. Nintendo and Atari. I mean, Nintendo won that shit handily, but still,
Yeah,
Nintendo
that
came in with jets and crushed those fucking rebel fucks.
See, and that's funny because when I was in the military, I never stopped to think, well, my friend someday Nataly will have gone through much worse than this. I, would have had to keep it in like proper context, Like my sign up, my volunteerism was your childhood.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can compare it really, but yeah, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like the regular trauma I have, like my first world trauma is worse than my third world trauma.
What kind of first world?
Interesting.
Yeah, what kind of first world trauma are we talking about?
But when I say for like the regular things, like the fights I had with my mom gave me more trauma than the bombs did. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they were part of my reality, but they weren't. I don't feel as defined by them as I was by more normal, regular shit that really defined who I am as a person today. But also, it might be the trauma that I got from the war might be just too deep and too unconscious for me to really understand it. I don't know.
No, it'll pop up when you're like 40.
Maybe.
And you're like doing something normal. You're like crushing it at whatever you're doing. And all of a sudden you just break down crying.
Yeah.
or maybe it won't. I think that what you're saying
maybe
is,
I'm just talking about my own trauma. From when I was young.
I think I have trauma that I realized that I didn't realize I had. I discovered it this August when there was the explosion in Beirut.
Right.
Because I was in Ohio I was in Ohio the whole month of August. And I was very, very depressed because of what happened back home, because my whole family and all my friends were in the middle of it. And it's like, it was very shocking to me because when the explosion happened, it happened in the middle of the city and it hit all the neighborhoods that I used to live in. Like, it hit where I lived, like my home. And then it also hit all the places I used to hang out at all the time. And then I read pretty early on, like the day of the explosion or the next day, when they were like, oh yeah, it was ammonium nitrate at the port. They were like, it's been there since 2013.
right.
So since 2013, it could have exploded at any point in time. And I'm looking at all the bars, all the restaurants, all the clubs. They were all in that street and they all got fucked. And I was like, so all those times I was just standing there in 2013, 2014, next to it, it could have just went off. And it went off at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday during COVID, when most people weren't at their offices, they weren't out. Like, and I was, you can't help yourself but stop and think, and like, what if this had gone out on a Friday night? If this had gone off on a Friday night in like 2014 or any time before COVID, when these streets were flooded with people, I can't even imagine.
Right.
I think I would have had so many friends dead. I would, like, me, maybe, so I had this shock initially of what the fuck, this could have happened at any point. And this whole time we were just hanging out there, not knowing, because I still live there. I left Lebanon end of 2015, basically like 2016. So there was 3 years where I lived on those streets.
Right. Yeah.
It was like they were my second home. Like, I was always there hanging out.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. And then you're here, and then the bomb happens, and then that's when I realized I have trauma from war. Is when the bomb happened, I was so angry and sad, and I was terrified, and I couldn't understand why. I just had this guilt. I was like, I don't understand why they all had to, and my mom, my dad, my brothers, my friends had to endure this, and I didn't. I'm safely here in Ohio.
Like survivors.
Survivors.
And it reminded me of, and I remember because I was in Ohio. It was one night I didn't know the people I was with really. I was there because I had to be working on something with one person who was there, and it was like kind of like a big group of people that I didn't know. I just knew that one person. So I was already kind of all by myself and secluded. And that night I was sitting in a corner, and I saw 3 girls that were my age that were having a drink and laughing. And they were like walking. They were like, oh my God. And they looked so cute. And they were like drinking and laughing. And it just reminded me of my 2 best friends back home. One of them who almost died in the bomb. And I started like really crying because it just reminded me of my friends and how me and them used to be like that. And I'm like, when's the next time my girlfriends
carefree.
are going to laugh like that? Yeah. And just be drinking and be girls. Like this one is literally waiting for her mom to get out of the hospital. Her mom almost bled to death. She almost died. Her apartment is completely broken. I hadn't been able to get on the phone with her for like 3 weeks. She couldn't speak. Wow. So I was so hurt. And then it just reminded me of 2006 when we fled. And we took a plane we took a plane from Syria to Turkey, and then Turkey to New York. And we were in New York with my uncles, and they were like, why don't you go play with the other kids? And I went to a summer camp, like a day camp for one day. And then all I saw is those kids running around, playing, laughing. And I was like so ashamed to even think about laughing and playing with them. Cause I'm like, what am I supposed to just ignore the fact that my friends are in the middle of a war back home? I can't just... And I hated myself during that summer because of it. I was a very angry 12-year-old, like...
Yeah, you got teenage angst on top of that.
Yeah,
like,
and then so this moment, that exact moment back in August when that happened, it brought me back to that. Yeah. Jeez. To that summer. And I hadn't realized how much it had affected me up until that one moment where I was like, ooh, I know this feeling and I hate it. What is it?
Right.
And I was so upset. And then yeah, so now it's a lot calmer because time has passed now since the explosion. I try to sometimes I try to, and it's hard to let yourself feel bad over it because you're like, well, I wasn't there. So Nataly, you need to chill. You can't make this about you. You weren't there. Other people were there. They're hurting. So please don't. So when I start feeling things about it, I stop myself and I'm like, you're not allowed.
You need to laugh because they can't.
No.
That's such also the
comics giving themselves a reason to do comedy and be like, we just need now more than ever. We need laughter. Right.
Yeah,
no,
that has been the narrative of the last years. We need comedy now more than ever.
It's do we?
We need
to be alive. Yeah.
Do you still have a lot of family there?
Everyone, yeah. I mean, my mom is here right now for a couple weeks, but she's going back. But my dad, my mom, my grandparents, my brothers were there. My oldest brother moved here in January, and the other one is in the Emirates and
were they
Qatar.
So you have 2 brothers?
Mm-hmm. 2 older brothers, yeah.
And they were there when it happened?
Yeah. They were all there when it happened. Yeah. It was terrifying because when I first saw the video, I didn't realize how big the blast was. I just thought it was a bomb, and I recognized where it was, and my mom's office is right by there. So I thought, oh, there's a bomb near my mom's office. And so I panicked. I was like, oh my God, my mom. But then my friends in the group chat, everybody was like, no, it was near me. No, it was near me. And no one was near each other.
Right.
So everybody was like, wait, how big was that? And then slowly with the passing minutes, videos started getting released online showing the actual bomb from a distance. And it's like, wait, what? And then you start trying to call people. No one's picking up. No one is reachable. And you're like, what was that? Because when you're in the middle of it, you don't realize. I called my mom. She was screaming on the phone. I called her to check on her when I saw the place of the explosion, and she picked up screaming, and then I was like, oh, okay, so she's alive. But then after that, I was like, wait, where do I go from there now? Yeah. I mean, and she's like, Anna! And I'm like,
let me just call everyone else in here.
Yeah, I was like, okay, bye. Guys are good. But I just panicked. I just went, what happened? And she goes, you tell me what happened. What are they saying on the news over there? I was like, nothing. She goes, I gotta go. I was like, okay. Thank you. Good. Yeah. I was like, she's alive. But then I was like, wait, my dad. And then I was texting my dad. I was like, where is Eddie? He goes, he's at home with me. And then my brother Anthony his office was a little further, but my brother Anthony didn't have a car with him at the office. So he knew the bomb happened near so my grandparents were the one closest to the bomb. So my brother Anthony ran from his office to my grandparents. Like it was just like a 40-minute run, and he's like really out of shape. God. I don't know how. I never asked.
Like grandpa's been good knowing you.
Yeah, we never got around to discussing how he made it, how he made it there, but he did. I guess like when your adrenaline is kicking, and so yeah, my grandparents got injured. Their house was completely like fucked, and yeah, I mean it was fucking. I mean I can't even think of any moment in time where I was more terrified and sad and angry and confused than this moment, than that day and that month. I mean, that whole month was, and still to this day, you're still processing. And again, I'm like processing very differently because I wasn't there. But it's just like a question, like it's weird. And I haven't been home since. I mean, last time I was home, it was still fine.
This is probably maybe an inappropriate question you probably don't know the answer to, but what is homeowners insurance situation like in this event?
Yeah, you have to wonder if they have like a projectile missile.
So we have a very failed system,
A
right?
state in general, right?
Yeah, and like it's an economical, like we're going through a huge economical collapse right now. So I don't think there's anything. The government didn't come in or step in to fix anything. It was all the houses that were fixed. I don't think insurances could afford fixing.
It's like NGOs or something.
Yeah, it was all NGOs, and just like I know I have friends who the next day just were already on the streets going from house to house being like, okay, they started just like,
what can we do?
Yeah, putting up aluminum or like stuff to replace the windows, and then they're still rebuilding. It's NGOs. It's all NGOs. The government hasn't helped. I haven't heard much about home insurance. We're supposed to have them.
Right.
But I feel like it's a little tricky in a country of war. I'm sure there's something in the laws that makes it easy for home insurance to kind of escape, because you can't I mean, in a place where they blow up a lot, it's kind of like, I don't know how it works. I don't know what the...
Right.
It'd be hilarious to have like Flo from Progressive.
Well, this is actually one of the, we've talked about like crypto and smart contracts before, but this is one of the things that they're supposed to offer is like in countries where like right now crop insurance is a big one too, where like they're not going to do business there because you can't rely on the local government to enforce any kind of contractual law. So they're trying to use smart contracts to do homeowners insurance and crop. All right, I'm going to stop.
Hey, I'm the Geico Gecko here in Lebanon.
So, when something like that happens, it kind of like puts in perspective your relationship with your family. You know what I mean? And like, I haven't had anything like that extreme happen, but you know, we've all had terrible things happen, and it kind of reminds you of like some of the fucking. I'm thinking about it like from a perspective of your siblings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like it kind of puts in perspective, like when something bad happens, you think about some of the shit you did when you were a kid, like with your siblings. Because I don't like me and my sister were monsters to each other.
Yeah.
We were fucking like, it's like I look back on it and I was like, that's fucking terrible. The shit we both did to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and my sister is like, she's the opposite of me, like personality wise. Like she's very stoic, very introverted,
responsible.
No, but I'm responsible. That's
she writes jokes.
You motherfuckers, okay? I got a phone to pick. Derek is always giving me shit about not writing jokes.
I didn't do it. It was poor.
They both giving me shit about not writing jokes. They're both telling the same jokes from 3 years ago. Okay, I got a whole new set. And it crushed.
All
okay,
right,
no,
all
I'm just
right.
kidding.
I feel like I should leave.
All right, no, I'm just joking.
My work here is done.
But what I'm saying is, like, you know, like when something traumatic happens, you kind of think back on that, and you're like, you're like, oh man, we were fucking so.
Yeah, like, do you regret being such a piece of shit to your brother?
No.
So you were saying they're both older than you.
They are.
By how much? Like a lot or a little bit?
No, I mean, when you're a kid, yeah, but no. I mean, one is 4 years older, the other one is 6 years older.
But like you all lived in the same house at the same time
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys,
That's a fair question
he's-
because my brothers are 20 years younger than me.
I'm
I've
saying,
never lived with
yeah,
them.
you never
Yeah.
lived in a house with them, so that's I'm just trying. I'm trying to
I
get
also
a feel.
never
Yeah.
tried to kill them in their sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't trying to kill him. I was trying to just prove a point, and
What happened? Lay it down for us a little bit.
I can't remember what happened exactly.
Was it the fat brother?
Yeah, he was. He's not fat anymore.
But you just said he wasn't in shape.
His face has shaped well. He has a good jawline.
He grew into himself.
Good for him. He has a good jawline. As long as his shirt is on, he looks good. So, oh my God, this is horrible. I'm using his biggest vulnerability right now against him.
He's not gonna
Oh,
listen.
he'll be fine.
No, he won't listen. He definitely won't. But
Oh, well, let's call him fat some more.
we were very close, but we used to fight over like really dumb stuff, and I don't remember what we fought over. And the way we would like try to like, we would start things off as jokes, and then someone would just cross the line,
Right.
and then
That's how it always goes.
it would get really bad. Like, he used to like do this thing to me where he liked to. We were kids, so it's like, you know, we used to do this thing where he would pretend he was like spitting on me, but then he would like,
Oh, like a loogie.
yeah, and then he would
Suck it back up.
right
Yeah,
on
I love
time.
that trick.
Yeah, he
Like an I'm
loved.
not touching you
Disgusting.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one time it just dripped, like on my forehead, and it just like just slid down my face, and I was so shocked that I couldn't move, and he couldn't move. We were both like, he was like,
Oh, this is where I fucked up.
and then he just ran to the bathroom and locked the door. And he was 17, I was 13. He was the guy there was no way I could have done anything to hurt him, you know,
Right.
physically, but he got so scared. He was like, I'm sorry, and then he just like ran
Well,
away.
you're highly motivated. I'm afraid of a motivated person.
Well, he also like
I
ran,
was highly, yeah.
he like ran not from what you could do to him, but from what he would deserve to have done to him.
Yeah, I
Like-
think so.
What's his name?
Anthony.
All right, so fat ass Anthony.
Anyway, so that was one of those times where I don't know what we were fighting over. It was back when we were kids. There was a period of time where we lived with my grandparents, and so me and my two brothers were in the same bedroom. The three of us were in the same bedroom, so you know that's not easy being
No.
three kids in a bedroom. So I don't know what we were fighting over. I think we were fighting over one of the pillows. I want this pillow. No, I want this pillow, and blah blah blah. So I think I ended up winning the pillow, and I think he spat on it without me knowing, and then he didn't tell me, and then. Or maybe he didn't, and he just told me that he did, and then I slept on it, and the next day he was like, by the way, I spat on your pillow. You slept on my spit.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what? I was so angry, and and then so my payback, 10-year-old Natalie, genius, I was like, I'm not going to also spit. That's like some amateur shit to do the same thing to him that he did to me. I have to get creative. What am I going to do to pay him back? So I just took a needle, like a needle that you sew like a shirt
Yeah.
with, and I stuck it inside his pillow, but like I made sure that the pointy part was at the top,
Right.
like,
Oh yeah.
it
To
didn't
ensure that
even-
it would hurt him.
but I was like, and then I was just like, yeah, that makes sense. That's this makes a lot of sense that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then I forgot, and I think it stayed in his pillow for a couple of days, and it didn't do anything, I think, and I forgot about it. And then a couple of days later, he was like on his pillow, and then he like, as he was sleeping, he turned, or like he was about to sleep, and he put his head, and I think that was the perfect point of like pressure to pull the needle
push the
out.
needle out.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
push the needle out, but it pushed out like it came out like right in front of his eyes, like
Oh,
right
damn.
in, and
Oh
he
damn. We could go
he
fuck his
immediately
ass
knew it
up.
was me.
Oh,
He
sure.
didn't think, oh, that's maybe a mistake at the
He didn't-
pillow factory.
He
was
didn't
like,
think like maybe that was God telling him he's gonna get diabetes if he doesn't lose weight.
Yeah, you could have blinded him. Like
yeah, I could have done something.
Some permanent
and
damage.
He was like, what? And then I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot I did this. He goes, that's not the point. The point is you did it. And I was like, but I didn't mean anything dangerous by it. He goes, it could have still done something really bad. And then he went and he told my mom, and then my mom, like, I can't even remember what the punishment of my mom was. Yeah, but he still remembers it to this day. He's like, sometimes he's like, if I call something out that he did, he's like, you almost killed me. So I can do anything I want for the rest of life.
You
the
have
rest
to go,
of time.
You have to go sit next to this unexploded munition.
I can't imagine if I had brothers. I think that's the only thing that saved it from escalating too far. Like, because my sister, she had to get like sneaky with it. I was older. I'm always going to be bigger. But one time, and this was, I was in like the 3rd grade. So that means she was like in kindergarten or 1st grade. So she was pretty fucking young. We fought the whole time from like,
Right.
we never didn't fight until we became adults. And so it was like, she was on the couch doing her homework or whatever. No, so she was drawing or something. You'll understand why in a second. And I was just hanging out, and I went to go sit down, and she put the pencil in the crack of the couch, and it literally missed my asshole by a centimeter.
Wow.
Right above on my little tailbone. I started bleeding. It stuck inside of me, and I'm screaming, crying, and my mom's like, what the fuck is going on? And I like have a pencil in my ass, basically.
Yeah.
Like literally this far away from my butthole. And I sat down on it, and it was inside me, and I'm freaking out. And so shit got pretty heavy with my sister.
I didn't have young siblings growing up, so I had nobody to like blame things on or to fight with. I was just a terror to my mother.
We had a crazy.
I know.
She killed my hamster on purpose.
Jesus Christ.
Well, maybe she's a serial killer.
Yeah, that is a
Where's
serial
your
killer.
sister?
That's really fucked up.
So she didn't kill. Like, so it was even worse. So I walk in. I had a little hamster, and I came in, and he's like making a noise. He's hurt. His back's broken. His back 2 legs don't work. He's like dragging himself, and I'm like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Nothing." What happened? What do you mean? And then finally she fessed up that she had put him in. She had like a shawl, like a scarf or whatever.
Yeah.
And was spinning him around. And she.
Oh my god.
And she said it was an accident.
Yeah.
Like he hit the ceiling
Or
fan.
something. Yeah. And so that was one of those things where my dad had to like go take care of it out in the back.
Where's your sister today?
Yeah.
She's in Arizona. Don't worry. You got no reason.
Has
Far
anyone
from
checked on
here.
her?
No, she's got a lovely family and kids and.
That pencil thing can be bad. I just want to mention.
Oh, yeah.
It reminded me. There was one innocuous event where I remember in shop class, some kid had his ass crack hanging out, and I stuck a pencil in. Then he stood up, and it snapped, and it was very funny. And then the teacher talked to me not to do such a thing.
Yeah.
And then a kid, I think it was middle school, had a pencil in his pocket and sat down, and it popped one of his testicles, and he had to go.
Oh my god.
He had to
That
go
made
to
my
the
butthole
ER.
so tight.
He went
I
to ER. I don't know whatever happened medically
That sounds
specifically,
horrible.
but
Oh
yeah,
my God,
they
I
like
felt that pain.
You see this right here? Can you see that? Little?
Yeah.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. You guys can see it over there.
No.
They
That's
can't.
from like 5th grade. I was still in primary school, and I just had a pencil like this, and we're like talking, and another kid walked up and just slapped my hand,
Oh.
and it went into my hand, and I was like, and it's
Jesus.
still. I mean, I'm old. That's like fucking 30 years old, and it's still got that pencil lead
That
in my
stayed
hand.
with you.
I might be. Maybe this is like maybe just a me thing, because I remember when it used to be like a really big gag to pull somebody's chair out from underneath.
Yeah, hilarious.
Right. I did that one time in the second grade to this girl, and I thought it was the funniest. I was like, this is going to be met with such uproarious laughter.
It's gonna be so funny. She's gonna love it. She's gonna have to
I
appreciate
pulled
it.
her seat up underneath her. She sat right straight on the ground, and everybody looked at me like I was the biggest jerk in the world. And I'm like, I didn't have a dad, so I'm like, my model for behavior is the TV. And TV said this was hilarious. You guys are all failing to understand. You know.
Wow.
Well, now you're an
I just-
entertainer, and they're not.
That's debatable.
Did your brothers like fight each other, or were you guys pretty well behaved overall?
Oh no, we fought a lot. We were very physical also
Yeah.
in our fighting. To them, I wasn't a girl.
Yeah.
I was another one of them.
I mean,
you know?
to
To
most
my-
people, you're not a girl. But
Do you feel good about that? Jared?
you're
Do you
a
feel
comic.
good about what you just
I
said?
treat you like a person, just a random person.
Well, you say that. I hope you're happy with yourself, but I want you to know that I'm going to go home and I'm going to carry this with me. And And next time, I see
And
a
then-
cute guy, I'm going to be like, well, maybe he doesn't see me as a girl, so Natalie, just go home and be sad. So I
All
hope
right.
if that was your point, then
I'm gonna save that guy a lot of hassle. It sounds
Wow.
like.
yeah, double down on it, Derek.
You know what, Derek? He's just taking out his own insecurities.
Yeah,
on
he
you,
is.
Okay?
He's been in
What
roast mode.
insecurities? I'm not a girl. What insecurities?
There's.
Can we take this whole bit and use it as the promo clip? Is that what we'll do?
Yeah, they would fight just as much as I would. Yeah, we would all fight with each other equally.
It's so funny to me because it's like me and my sister would fight so bad, but I remember a kid put his hands on my sister. And
Oh, right,
and
yeah,
it was like
yeah. That crosses the line.
it was like the first time I hurt someone. It was as a kid. He was in between because we're like 3 grades apart, right? So the kid was a grade older than her and a grade younger than me, but he was a big dude, and I guess he grabbed her like by the throat, and I was like, Even though my mom never, because I got in trouble for that one, and my mom was like, "You guys fight all the time." You
Right,
know?
yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, yeah, but that's allowed. And she's
You
like,
can't
no,
do
it's
that
not
to
allowed.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be fighting anyone. And
Well,
that,
because you love her when you're fighting with her. You're not gonna. At the end of the day, you're not gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
don't know what this guy's intentions are. You're like, I know I'm not gonna really hurt her. I don't know if he is. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I'm gonna hurt him back if he hurts my sister.
Right. We
Right.
could do it to our own, but not an
Yeah.
outsider.
his eyes swelled shut, and I was pretty young. I didn't know I had that kind of power. I was pretty young. His eyes swelled shut. He pulled a knife on me. And I was like, all right, let's do that.
Wow.
It was wild time. One of the most fucked up things I think I ever did to my sister, and I always had the pencil stuck in the back of my head. I was like, the same thing for life. I was like, you almost stuck a pencil up my ass. I'm fucking never gonna forgive you ever. And one time we were getting a fight. It was something so stupid, like probably the remote or something. And there was a weird, really short section of time where we both lived with my dad, but he was never around. And so I had these fireworks. I had like bottle rockets, and I had a lighter and a bottle. We're in the house, like in the fucking hallway, and I'm like, if you don't give me the fucking remote, I'm gonna light this. I'm gonna throw it in your room. Give me the fucking remote. And she was like, fuck you. And I was just playing with the lighter, but I accidentally lit it. And I was like, oh shit, I'm holding this bottle rocket. And I'm in the house, and I just ran into the bathroom and threw it in the sink and tried to turn the water on, and exploded in the fucking
Jeez,
sink.
that could have fucked up your pipes.
I had to that was a mess I had to clean up before my dad got home.
Yeah,
We got that
was
shit where I got so good at like patching holes in the wall before anybody got home. And it wasn't from like punching them, but like I remember one time we were fighting and I like threw her and she hit the wall and put a big ass hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I gotta fix this and paint it before dad gets home or he's gonna whoop my ass.
All right, so you could have potentially like really hurt your brother, and we live in a culture today where like pranks is like kids get like arrested nowadays
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like, have you heard of swatting? Like
Yes.
what swatting is? Swatting is
No,
like
what's that?
so there's online games are really big and everybody communicates via online games and all that sort of stuff. And like, say I'm playing you in Fortnite, right? And you beat me or whatever the case may be, and you're in like Louisville. I will call in like a bomb threat to your house or whatever, or like say that you're barricaded in with a gun and you're going to shoot somebody.
You could get arrested for that.
Well, no, but then the SWAT team comes and kicks in the doors of his house or whatever. And yeah, and was so
You
one
could
point
definitely get arrested.
at
for
one
it, but
point, most people do nowadays at this point. But like last time that happened, like the cops came and kicked in the door of some guy and then killed this kid. Like
Wow.
on accident, you know.
Yeah, come on, they're cops.
Right, I know. Yeah. He was white, so it was on accident. But
Jesus Christ.
but you know, and we have this like, I mean, granted, that's pretty fucking extreme, but like I've seen like where people like kids like are like super sensitive nowadays, you know, and like you could like that same sort of prank nowadays, that would be like that's violence, you know, and that sort of thing. Well, no, it's true. I'm not judging you.
I know. I mean,
I
it was.
did
I'm
way-
still shocked.
I did way
did that.
worse.
I mean,
But I do know that I didn't like I and that's irrelevant. I mean, it doesn't matter what your intentions are when you do something like that. you know. But my intentions weren't to like actually hurt him. It was just to be like, haha.
It was
Gotcha
almost to
back.
like freak him out or to make him be like,
Yeah.
I can if I wanted to.
Yeah, and it's also you can't fuck with me either, because also I was a girl and they
Right.
were older than me and they had a lot of power over me. So I had like a power struggle with them, because I was like, I don't scare them enough. I
Yeah.
need to scare them more, you know?
Right.
My
So yeah, that's what I didn't mean to like really actually hurt him, which I could have done. And then when the needle came out, this is when I realized that, oh fuck, I could have actually really hurt
It
my
sounds
brother.
like if you really wanted to hurt your brother, you would have had to tie like a ham to the ceiling just out
You're
of
really
reach.
rolling with this bit. He can't.
He's not fat.
I can't.
He's not that
listen,
chubby.
I'm fat, so when other people are fat,
I know. I was
just
gonna.
wanna
I was
jump-
gonna laugh if we pull up photos later on, and her brother's in better shape than you.
No way.
Just bring it out his own
He is
thing.
in better shape. Yeah.
No way.
He looks great. No, he looks good.
I look great.
This is it's just an ongoing bit that we have with him, where we're like just calling him overweight when he's not. It's
Yeah,
just
people do
insane.
that with me too. Good bit, guys. Good bit, doctor.
That's, you know, like when you said like when you're talking about when you guys all shared a room, that reminded me, like, I can't listen to 90s like R&B, like early 90s R&B, because it just brings back flashbacks of sharing a bedroom with my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's not
what
fun.
we did. It was terrible, and it's like just like awkward boners and like it's just terrible.
Hers or yours?
Yeah, take your pick, really.
My brother and I, like, I think fought when we were younger. I'm nearly 6 years older, and so we fought like a little bit, but never like extreme. And then as we got older, the only kind of like stuff between us, like he would like steal my car without me knowing and drive it when he was like
That's a good
15.
move.
And then the
Yeah.
weird part is that as we both got older, I basically never got into fights. Like I was a troublesome kid. Like I got suspended and stuff like that, but like not really for fighting, for like being a goof. And then he got into fights at school and ended up probably being a better fighter than I would be, considering I never fight. And it was funny because everybody in my high school was like, oh no, Boris's brother is coming in. Like the teachers started warning each other because I was such a piece of shit. And then their warnings were like still underserved because he was so much worse than I was. Because like and we had some, the needle thing reminds me of something that I didn't do, but my friend did. There were 3 of us that all had this teacher, and we were progressively worse. And so she would try to talk to my buddy Ronick about, and he was bad, but she would be like, can you talk to Boris and tell him to calm down? And then she would talk to me about our other friend, who I'm not even going to mention by name because there could be legal issues here. I know nobody's going to listen to it, but
Wow.
this person I know took a condom out of the teacher's purse and poked a hole in it and put it back.
Holy moly!
And that is not even the worst thing.
Oh,
Yikes.
man.
A male teacher?
Female teacher.
Did
and
she get pregnant?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not after this. It was a female teacher and a female friend. It was actually a girl that was much worse than I am. That's probably even too much of a clue because it's obvious to someone who went to high school with us who this is.
Wow.
But that person also, again, I'm only saying this because nobody will listen, stole that teacher's wallet and social security card and everything and like called us out to the parking lot. I was like, you guys got to check this out. And I'm like, I never saw this.
Yeah,
walk
gonna
away.
walk away.
Wow.
That's a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a petty crime. That's a felony.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
pretty
that's
bad.
a criminal.
And like I said, I never fought, but my brother actually once got in trouble for shoving a teacher through a desk because they tried to take his phone away because he was like texting in class. And he was like, no. And then the teacher went to like grab it from him and he shoved
Wow.
him back. Yeah.
Well, that's how conditioned we are to like not give up our electronic devices and stuff. I
He
mean,
felt
like,
very justified. He was like, they tried to put their hands on me and take away my personal property.
Man, I remember one time in 7th grade music class, the music teacher got tired of my shit. And I used to sit in my chair like this against the wall, and she just took me and slammed me up against the wall and like shoved me into the wall like several times. I went home and told my mom. My mom's like, "You deserved it, you little shit."
Yeah,
Yeah,
things
and,
were
like,
different back then. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I never learned music, so
Well, I just saw that makes me think of it because like I was it's spring, right, and everything's so beautiful, and there's a park right across the street from my house, and I was literally just standing there, and it was day before yesterday or whatever, And I was like, oh, everyone's having such a good, I was having like a nice moment just with myself watching the park. And there was a little kid, like a toddler, like little, like he could walk, but he was little. And he was just stomping around in like the tulips. And I was like, it's cool. Oh, and then he's ripping out tulips from the root. And I'm like, oh. And then he goes and he hands it to his mom. It's like, oh, that's kind of cute. And she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck that he's ripping out the tulips. She doesn't give a fuck that he just did this really cute thing, even though it was shitty, but it was cute.
From the root, though, it means he's trying to keep the bulb and replant it.
Right.
I was at a tulip farm yesterday, so
this kid is too small to do anything. But then he goes back in and he's stomping around. And I saw this old man, and I live in Bed-Stuy, so they're all black. I was trying to think of a joke there, but so it's this old black man, right? And I'm just watching, and I was like, oh man, I wish someone would stop that kid. And then this old dude just literally walked over and stopped the kid. He did it in like a night. He didn't like scream or hit the kid. He was like, hey, come on, old buddy, and like kind of ushered him back to his mom, got him out of like where the flowers were. And I was like, man, when you were little, like when I was little, if a grown up said some shit to me, that was the law.
Right, yeah.
You know, and like a random grown-ups. And if even a grown-up smacked me one time and my mom was like, yeah, you were being an idiot.
Right, yeah.
Like, could you imagine that happening now?
No, I mean, NBC made a whole mini-series about that one guy who it was like, this guy slaps this other guy's kid and it just tears their, like, friends group apart. Or whatever, and it's like
the slap heard around the world.
I think it was called like the slap.
Slap.
I mean, it's something ridiculous like that, and like, I mean, we went from a world of like kids should be seen and not heard to like kids make the rules.
Yeah,
you know, sort of.
What's your relationship with your brothers now?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm closer to the middle one than the older one just because we're closer in age.
Yeah.
And I feel like we went through a lot more together. I'm the one I almost murdered.
Blinded at most.
Yeah. But I haven't seen him in a year and a half now, so.
I know. Damn pandemic. I'm
Yeah.
gonna see my mom soon. So.
Really?
What are you gonna do?
The-
May 13th, I think.
You're
That's
gonna go
awesome.
see her?
The day. She's coming here. Her and my dad
Nice.
are coming here. Yeah,
Nice.
That's cool.
I'm very excited about that.
Are they vaccinated?
They're fully vaccinated. My wife's fully vaccinated. And that's all that needs to matter. That's So I would rate trying to stab my brother's eye out.
Sibling murder. Let's say sibling murder.
Sibling potential. Let's say attempted sibling.
attempted
Sibling manslaughter. I mean, I'd rate that 0 out of 5 bears. I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
know,
that's cool to attempt to. I mean,
All right.
I get that you're trying to lay a message down.
I didn't know I was gonna get a score.
We're rating it.
I
You're
know,
rating it too.
I was
You
about
get
to
Yeah,
to
we
explain.
forgot to tell you. There's
So
a
we rate the
component
petty
to it.
crime, and there's no actual rhyme or reason to
No
how
rhyme
we
or
Based
rate
on
it.
reason.
what? Like,
It
what
doesn't-
is the
it's all-
Literally-
there's totally
literally
nothing.
There's no
no-
criteria.
0? Like the idea is a 0, or you just don't think it's a good enough or bad enough crime? Like, what are you?
Oh, it was a great crime for you to commit.
You
but
rate it as well, by the way, and
Yes.
everything you just asked is all stuff we make up and do differently on every
Oh,
episode.
okay.
there's no real
You're
criteria.
not. You're not being judged here. in
It's
any
like
way.
whether or not a movie is good. It's like, you know,
It's all
like this
subjective.
movie, like, you know.
All right, so you give me a 0
I'm not giving you. I'm giving the crime itself
that I've committed.
that you committed specifically.
A 0.
I
would just say that, I mean, attempted sibling manslaughter, being a sibling.
What about
It-
creativity?
I mean,
think
that
it's-
was
I
pretty
think
good.
it's pretty
good for
Okay,
creativity.
I
fair
like that.
enough. All right.
The needle in the pillow, because
We're going to do a real 12 Angry Men here where you're just going to keep arguing your way up to.
the needle in the pillow is actually like, because there's no real way to prove it was you. He assumed it was you, but you could have just been like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He
Yeah.
knew it wasn't his heart. He was like, it was my
He didn't even
bitch-ass
think
sister.
it was the other guy, like my other brother.
The other
he
guy,
he
the
was
other
like,
guy, yeah.
and his bed was in the middle, in between the two of us. So he could have looked. He didn't even look left for a second. He immediately turned right to me. He was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Oh no, I forgot I did this. Sorry."
Yeah.
I would rate it highly because nothing bad happened. I think this is one of those crimes where if the eye ended up getting poked out, I would still probably give it like a 2 or a 3 because it's still just an eye, and it's
It's just an eye.
well, you know, he still got the other one, but but I
That's true.
do.
You do have 2 eyes.
But I do agree in creativity, and I think that because everything was okay, it just happens to be that it's different when things turn out and nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would give it a 4 out of 5 there because
Thank you, Boris.
I think it's good. It really does send a fucking message, like no harm, no foul. But the message is there.
But the message is also, it's like,
Don't fuck with me.
don't fuck with me. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I'm not a weak little girl.
I'm gonna say
True.
I'm gonna give it like a
commend your
4.
spirit.
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well because I think that I like the creativity. It does send a message, and like I said, I'm tight with my sister now because I think we almost murdered each other more than once.
It makes you closer.
We're closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like
should've
it's
tried to
like
kill
you
my
know, you never
brothers.
truly know someone till you fight them.
Yeah. True.
You know.
That's why, when you're in a new relationship and you have your first fight, everybody's like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah,
No,
that's why my
trust
wife's-
us.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's why my marriage
So
is
this,
so strong.
attempted kind of murder, but not really. It's good.
I think it's
No.
attempted cyclopsy.
Whatever the fucking scientific word is.
I think attempted sibling manslaughter because you're not going to kill. I mean, maybe even went his ear, you'd rupture an eardrum or the eye, blind, but maim. You could have definitely maimed him.
How do you rate your crime?
I mean, for creativity, I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5. 4. Definitely. For the crime itself, I would still give it a 5 out of 5.
There you go. I
I
like
give
it.
the whole thing a 5 out of 5. Really, my whole life, everything about me, 5 out of 5.
I love it. Own it. Own it.
Yeah, I give the whole thing just an A+. If he would have been hurt, I would have been like, okay, maybe like 4.5. some we'll take some points out because
Fuck that. If he was
God.
hurt, it would have been a 6.
You know who would have loved you guys is like Derek Chauvin's defense team. Like,
Jesus.
I
Wow.
mean, because it's like you're so easy to convince of like, well, nothing bad happened, or whatever.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I
like,
really
you guys
don't.
I'm principled here, but I've listened to what you had to say. I've reconsidered my rating, and it's still a 0.
Can we rate Derek just overall?
Nah, man, I don't.
5.
We
I'm
need a
fucking
whole
10 out
other.
of
We
5.
need a whole other
Another
episode.
I'm 10 out of 5. Listen, Myron, and I know you're listening. Myron told me last night that he learned quite a bit about me through the podcast. And he loves me even more. So I'm a great person.
So this
5
is
out of
the
5
episode to change his mind. Natalie, thank you so much for doing
Yeah,
our
that was
podcast.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank
yeah,
you,
where
guys.
can people find you on social media and whatnot?
Nat Your Color on Instagram and
Nat
Twitter.
Your Color. N-A-T.
Yes.
On Instagram and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else you want to promote?
Absolutely nothing.
Peace. World peace.
World peace.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys.
guys.